This week, the U.S. Surgeon General declared gun violence a public health crisis, citing the rising statistics of those dying following firearm injuries.
It's something that we see and feel and talk about almost on a nightly basis here in Arizona as well. 12 News journalist Colleen Sikora spoke with advocates today who hope this will spark change here and across the country.
For the first time in the history of our office, I am issuing a Surgeon General's advisory on firearm violence.
A new advisory for an all too familiar pain.
I'm so thankful that finally somebody's hearing our cries.
It's about time.
Advocates in Arizona hoping it will bring collective change.
Immediately, we are making strides.
The Surgeon General's advisory highlighting how firearm injuries surpassed car accidents for the leading cause of death for children and adolescents in 2020. The last 2 years, an Arizona report finding firearm injuries are the leading cause of death for teens 15 to 17, all of them deemed preventable.
And I've lost upwards to 20, 30 kids to gun violence. But what do you expect them to do? They don't have help.
Nisha Higgins, founder of Melabiz Community Hub, is trying to change that. The organization receiving a grant from the state to fund physical space and mental health resources, among others, to help combat youth gun violence.
And that's what I want it to be, a safe space for you to be who you are and just get the help that you truly need.
We cannot have this conversation about gun violence without talking about mental health.
Geronda Montano, a prevention specialist, notes the increasing percentage of suicides in the Surgeon General's advisory too, especially among youth.
How are these kids dealing with face-to-face interactions? How are they dealing with no's and disappointments and upsets? How are they managing their emotions? Can they regulate themselves? Because when these kids grow up, when they become adults, what has happened in childhood goes right with them.
While the Surgeon General's advisory also calls for increased research and prevention and education, it also calls for policy change.
I would argue it's easier to do something about these firearm deaths than it is to prevent some of the fentanyl deaths, because we have policies that we know work, red flag laws, basic background check laws.
The advisory quickly criticized by the NRA as a war on law-abiding gun owners.
This really shouldn't be as controversial as it is. There's all the data shows that safe storage saves lives.
Bruce and Claire Patillo,
You continually feel like you're in a nightmare.
lost their 15-year-old son Christian in 2021.
He was adventurous, he was extremely sporty, darn smart for a kid.
He was at a sleepover when the Patillos say Christian was shot in the chest after the boys found a gun. They've been trying to get Christian's Law, a safe storage law, passed in Arizona for 2 years.
What is your fear of action not being taken?
People will die. Kids will die. We've seen countless episodes of elementary school kids showing up to school with guns in their backpacks. There have been countless other shootings of kids or kids getting access to guns and shooting each other, shooting adults, shooting themselves in Arizona since Christian died.
Wanting to see change now.
We can make a difference, and we don't have to live this way.
Colleen Sikora, 12 News.
All right, Colleen. Tonight, an investigation